Hello and welcome to Real Talk with Stacie René. Thrilled to have everyone here today, and more importantly, I am thrilled and honored to have Monica join us in this conversation where you are going to just educate the heck out of us. I actually met Monica when she was providing a amazing talk that just blew my mind on body language and the nonverbal cues that we give out, right? I mean, you were outstanding. So I would love to hear about more about it and tell everybody else what you were able to offer to the room was packed. So tell us.
It was a lot of fun. I am a certified body language trainer, and I teach audiences, individuals, and groups how to influence situations and people using nonverbal communication. And this is super important because nonverbal communication is a huge amount of our communication. Only 7%, tiny percent, comes from the words that we're speaking. So 93% is nonverbal, which means body language, voice tone, and ornaments. Ornaments are what you choose to wear, what earrings you're wearing, what body art you are exposing or not. And so I teach people,
checking myself out of like what I'm wearing.
You look great. And then before we got on this call, we checked how we look, right, on the video, because
we sure
did. In our timing, in this moment in March 2020, a lot of people are physically isolated or physically distanced from others, and a lot of us are using video conferencing instead.
Correct.
Instead of being in person. So there are a lot of things that are very important when you're doing video conferencing. And I created a free workshop, a free training that you can access online called Video Conference. No, what did I call it? Body Language for Video Conferencing.
Yes.
And it can be accessed through my website, nonverbalscience.com. I'll show you how to access that in a minute.
Yeah, we would love to see that. It sounds really exciting. And I think right now, we all could understand a little bit more about our body language, how we are, because I know how I am. I'm like, oh, come here, hello. And some people are like, no. I don't know, and I have to make sure they look for those signs. And when I was your presentation, I actually learned a lot, not only about other people, but about myself. And I think that was not what I was expecting, which even brought more value to your presentation. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I find that understanding body language helps us understand ourselves and others better. So body language, as I become more aware of my body language, I start to feel different as I choose different body language poses. For example, one of the first things that we talked about in the talk that you attended was that the 93% of nonverbal communication that we're giving affects the unconscious of the primitive brain. And our primitive brain is always asking the question, am I safe? And so I want to feel like a winner. And if I don't, I want to be around people that are winners. So what does that look like? If you want to be more charismatic and attract people to you, you need to look like a winner. And as soon as you start to look like one, you're going to start to feel like one. But then what does a winner look like? The University of British Columbia did a study and watched videos and photographs of people winning and losing races. And they found that everybody, no matter where they are on the planet, and whether they're sighted or not, in other words, blind or sighted athletes, they all have the same nonverbal body language expression for being a winner. Now, Stacie, when you get something exciting happen to you, or you feel like you won a race, or you were called down on The Price is Right, what do you do nonverbally?
I am the most ecstatic, loud, energetic, look at me, this is exciting.
So what do you do?
Personality. I scream. I'm like, yes, I get excited. And I'm like, it's just, it's very.
Right. So it's like all athletes, when they go across finish lines, right?
It's like I'm spreading my wings out when I just,
Yes. And
what makes the winning or accomplishing or crossing the finish line in my marathon, it makes it even more exciting because not only did I finish and I'm excited that I finished, but just to feel it within and then to let it exuberate out.
That's right. And people can read that. Now, let's say I am social distanced, or I guess we should call it physical distancing myself. I'm here in my household alone. There's all this fear on the planet at this time. And maybe I don't feel like I just won a race. Maybe I don't feel like a winner. So I might be walking around hunched over with my head down and my body contracted. Well, if I want to change how I feel, I need to change how I hold my body. If I hold my body like a winner, with the chest up and shoulders down and head up, it will change how I feel because the body, mind, and emotions are all connected. And that's something that's very important to do before you meet with people, before you get on a video chat, is to raise your level of confidence by changing your body stance. So high power body stance, let's see how far back I can go in the room. Yes, high power body stance is with your chest up, your hands on your hips, and your head up. So if you hold this position when you're feeling sad, disempowered, low power at all, this will help you feel more confident. And that's very important in this timing. So I suggest that people do that more. And then when they sit down to have a video chat, they're feeling more confident. Because I want to look confident so that Stacie perceives me as being confident and she wants to hang out with me.
Right. Like even though I'm sitting back in my chair, because normally I'm up forward, I'm just sitting back, but yet I still have my shoulders back and they're not like slouched, you know, because I'm confident.
Yes, the same thing applies when you're sitting. So when you're sitting, I happen to be on a stool because then I have to keep my back straight. Right. But if you're in a chair with a back, put your bum all the way back so that you're not sitting like this, because this will be perceived differently than if you're sitting up.
Yeah. And you know, and it's funny because if there's a room full of people and, you know, look at, as we both know, there's bullies, there's not so many nice people. And I know that word is, you know, definitely overused and people are tired of hearing about it, but it happens all the time. And if you see somebody who is in that demeanor of the shoulders are slouched and they're kind of like this, they're generally the first ones that somebody is targeting to make fun of, right? So even if you're not feeling good on the inside, still be proud, put your shoulders back, look like, you know, you feel confident, even though you may not be. But if you put your shoulders back and make the attempt, all of a sudden, I think that your confidence level will rise, correct?
Yes, yes, because they are connected.
Right.
Yeah. And research studies have even shown this, that if you have a positive stance, a high power stance, when you're sitting, as well as when you are in person with people, your confidence rises, stress levels reduce, and you're better able to handle stress in the face of adversity.
Right. Yeah. You know, and it's funny, I just received some information, and the information I received, you know, was as soon as we sat down, well, this is not going to be a nice conversation. It's going to be an ugly one. And I stood straight up. I said, okay. I'm like, you know, it is what it is. And we're just going to make it, we're going to go with the flow with it. And I think that the shock factor of how I perceived the information was, I mean, there's something I can do to change the information. So I can at least take it with confidence and pride. And I'm the one that's in control of the outcome, correct? So, yes. And I still felt good after the conversation. I was like, hey, we're just going to carry on and move on and be stronger. And I think that's, you know, kind of what you're saying for the body language is no matter what the situation is, don't ever just sit there and cower, right? Right?
Well, in body language, there's really no right and wrong.
Right.
I'm just trying to teach people how to be conscious of their body language. Mm-hmm. For example, if I am in a situation in which people might be approaching me, do I want to have open, welcoming body language? Maybe I don't want that particular person to talk to me. So I could intentionally close off my body language, take a step back, and then turn my head away from them, all signs of disinterest, to give them a nonverbal cue of don't come near me.
Right.
I never say that you have to have open, high power body language all the time. It's just think about what is your goal, and then how can I achieve that goal using not only words, but the 93%, which is body language.
Right, right. And, for those of you who are just joining us, I'm introducing Monica. She's giving us some amazing information about nonverbal body language. And if you can, please make sure that you like the button down there so more people will see us. And if you have any questions or comments, if we can't answer them right away, then we will try and reach out to you individually. Monica has a great way that she can give you feedback, or I'm sure reach out to you individually as well. But if you're wondering that question, I'm sure other people are as well. And this is amazing, information that I think everyone needs to know about is the nonverbal body language. And I think, again, from your presentation and just the times that we've talked, it is so informative on how we are in our daily business. I mean, especially through businesses when you're having a meeting. So let me ask you this. If someone is in a meeting and they're talking and they keep talking because are they concentrating and they keep looking away and and then they keep coming back and then they look away. I mean, what are those kinds of, because I've seen that a lot in a lot of meetings. They don't have that eye contact for business meetings or
do you mean in person or do you mean on video chat?
In person. I've seen that a lot. It's like the eyes seem to tend to stray away.
Well, that's actually very normal. In a general relaxed conversation, we usually make eye contact 60 to 70% of the time, which is ideal. Because any less, you look shifty-eyed. And any more, you look like, you're stare me down contest. Ah!
Right.
But if you're in a meeting, like if you're in a meeting with me and you ask me a question about some research that I did, I'm probably not going to look at you while I answer because I have to go to that part of my brain to retrieve the information. And it's different for each person. I happen to look up and to the right when I'm retrieving information.
Okay. All right.
So I might look at you and then you ask me a question and you say, Monica, what were the results of that test or your research study? And I will look up to the right. I'll retrieve it and then I'll come back to you and I'll say, oh, it was 63% of the population did this.
That is a great viewpoint. It's very, very, very helpful. And that way for people who, experience that during meetings, maybe it gives them a different perspective instead of them seeing it as disinterest. No, they're they're retrieving
information. Once you start to become aware of body language and how to read other people, it's kind of fun to challenge yourself. So Stacie, when you go into a meeting and you notice somebody always looking off in a particular direction to retrieve information, right? Then you ask them a question and they look somewhere else. Be mindful of that because
they don't know the answer.
They might be making it up.
See, that's good. See, you're welcome everyone for that. That is a very useful tip.
Now, in terms of lie detection, when you're doing lie detection, you have to observe the person when they're in a relaxed state. What do they look like on a regular basis? So Monica Levin always looks up and to the right when she's retrieving information. If you ask me a question and I look somewhere else, I might be making it up, but you have to look for more than one lie detection cue or more than one red flag. You look for clusters of red flags when you want to see if someone is lying or not. But if you see me look up in a different direction, ask me more questions and dig deeper.
Wow.
Because maybe I just say something.
Fascinating information.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I make it up because I don't want to embarrass you or I don't want to look bad. It might not be a malicious thing because people, I think, tell over 200 lies a day. Sometimes they're lies to ourselves, lies to other people.
Right.
So I don't hurt your feelings. I don't hurt myself. I make myself look better or I make you look better. There are lots of different reasons for not being 100% truthful. And frankly, what is truth anyway? It's just an opinion. So
very good perception. I like that. I like that. But thanks for that, again, tidbit of information and always educating. I know that you have your website. Would you like to take us there?
Actually, because then you can see where you can access the free training.
Okay.
And if anybody wants to, once you subscribe to the free training or register for it, you can also subscribe to my 2-Minute Tuesday videos. Every Tuesday I send out a video. I try not to make it longer than 2 minutes, with a body language tip. So let's see if I can figure this out. I click to share screen.
Perfect.
And share. Here we go. Here's nonverbalscience.com. If you come to the home page and scroll down a little bit, you'll see body language for video conferencing, a free training. When you click on it, let's see how fast it goes with us streaming. It's a little bit slow.
I think everybody there you
There you go. So over here, you just have to register, and then you can access the training, which will be in this now white spot. It'll be there. And then if you decide that you want to stay connected, let's see if I might have to move this thing. Under contact, stay connected. You can sign up for my tips. Just put your name, email address, and you can subscribe for all of my 2-Minute Tuesday videos. And then whenever I have something new out, like a new training. The trainings are also available on the library up here. You can see library, where you can access the 2-Minute Tuesday videos that have already been published, some articles, and the webinars. Here's the body language for video conferencing. That one is free. And then there's this extensive video webinar, which is a 4-part webinar on the fundamentals of body language. So there we go. Let me stop sharing.
Great website, great designs. It looks like it's very easy to navigate, which that's one thing I like when you go to a website, because if you have to search for something, it takes time. Like,
Yeah, there's a search bar for the library. And thank you for the compliment, because I actually did the website myself.
You did? Well, nice.
Look at that pride. Woo!
Yes, feel it. Oh, it just feels good. If you're watching this, make a comment and go, woo, this feels great. It really does feel good.
Woo!
Like, woo.
A great way to make yourself feel better, to feel more high power, is to turn on some music and dance around.
Absolutely. See, hopefully people are going to be watching this over and over, because it just makes them feel good and constantly get the education.
Well, how could they not feel good? You have your beautiful, smiling, friendly face.
Absolutely. And you are just a wealth of information, and you make us feel good. Like, the body language really is an essence that I think is lost. And I love that you're bringing this to the forefront and having that connection that we all need, whether it's now, whether it's later, and whatever situation. And, for me, it's also to teach your kids, like, let them start understanding the body language of people now, instead of letting them learn the hard way.
Stacie, that is a very good point, because in our society, nonverbal communication and other soft skills are not valued. It's not taught in schools. It's not taught in university. And we have to figure it out ourselves.
Which really can be hurtful.
And on top of that, they've done research studies and discovered that people that get promoted at work is only because of the technical skills, the hard skills. 15%, 85% is their ability to master soft skills.
No, I did not know that.
It's huge. So if you want to progress in your career, you need to learn soft skills, including nonverbal communication, which is huge.
Did you hear that, everyone? Seriously, that's huge. Monica, please repeat that. Please, seriously.
85% of our ability to get promoted at work is from our soft skills. Only 15% comes from our hard knowledge. Wow.
That's amazing. Again, very useful education and tips. I mean, we need to know this stuff. That's why I'm saying it's good to know all of this. So thank you for bringing that. On top of all these amazing things that you have to offer, I did at your seminar, I bought your book.
Oh, yes.
So please enlighten us even more and show your book. Tell us about your book. How can they purchase it? What can they do? Go for it.
They can go to nonverbalscience.com. I have the store where my book is available. And it covers different skills, confidence. So there are photos, drawings. Yes, I did them myself too.
They were good. I looked at the book. I read the book.
I used to be a website designer.
Look at you, jack of all trades, master of many. That's what I like to call it.
Oh, there we go.
I'm
And
putting
then
that on
there's also a
well.
section on how to interpret facial expressions, what they mean, and how to respond.
Yep.
And yeah, it's just a nice summary of everything. When I do seminars, when I do talks, I have them available for purchase. And sometimes when I'm hired to do a full workshop, every student receives them. That way they have something they can write their own notes.
Mm-hmm. I actually bought that book and I read it on the airplane to Aruba. So it's a nice little quick reference too. And I think after this, I'm gonna reference it again. And just I think it's always good, like a good to go.
So were you on the beach in your bikini in high power stance?
You know, no, but dang it, I should have been.
Yes, while you have it.
That's right. Appreciate what we have now.
Yeah.
You have just been a wealth of information, and I appreciate all of your time. I would love to have you back on again at some point because I know you have a couple other things in the background that you've been working on, and it's been very beneficial for a lot of people. So I'd love to have you on again to educate more. And again, please share where they can get a hold of you, and in case they want to ask you more questions, because you're going to want her for your business corporation's keynote speaking as well, because this will change how your employees are, how your business meetings go. I mean, I think you're a phenomenal asset to so many people out there.
Thank you. Thank you. And right now, with the climate that we have right now, I'm doing video trainings. So for example, if you have a big presentation you have to give, I help you with the nonverbal side of it. You have the verbal side, which is the 7%. But if you have to do a big presentation, you don't want people falling asleep. You want to engage the whole brain of the people, of the person that's watching you, right?
Correct.
So you need to do certain things non-verbally to activate that part of the brain. Because we have different parts of the brain, our brain, that interpret verbal and non-verbal communication. If you pull them together and activate all parts of the brain, then you become more authentic and credible and charismatic. And that's very important.
That is great. So you can go to your website, which is?
Nonverbalscience.com.
Perfect. Is there anything else that you'd like to leave us with today?
No, just sign up for 2-Minute Tuesdays, call me for coaching and speaking, and go and access that free training that I just put on, I think yesterday. So It's on there. So you can become a master at what to do when you are video conferencing.
Monica, thank you so much. You have blown me away, and I've talked to you several times, watched you present, and you just continually do that. So I appreciate your time today, your knowledge, your expertise. And this is Real Talk with Stacie René, and you cannot lead a positive life with a negative mind. Monica, thank you again.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. And don't coast to neutral, positive shift ahead.